Welcome back to Smokies Plus. In this video, we're here in the beautiful Great Smoky Mountains in Pigeon Forge on Wares Valley Road to check out this really unique place that you've probably never seen before. Welcome to Mountain Shire. What inspired the Hobbit theme for this area?
Well, have you seen the Shire?
Oh yeah, the Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. Yeah.
So we really liked that opening scene of Gandalf going into the Shire, and so we wanted to kind of recreate that feel of all the little hobbits having their hobbit hovels, the round doors, as you've seen in the video. Just kind of this green, very natural looking landscape. And we wanted to do it in the hills of Tennessee. So yeah, that's kind of where the inspiration comes. And then you can also see, we've got all sorts of decorations associated with the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. So we've got in several of the tiny houses, there's these maps of Middle Earth. Some people that come in here obviously say, oh, there's a lot of kind of pagan symbology here. So I guess that's somewhat associated with hobbits, but. Yeah, for this particular tiny house, we wanted to go with dragons. So this tiny house was actually bought from a lady in Utah. She had it commissioned, and she never actually lived in it. So it sat vacant for about five years, and then we bought it from her and we fixed it up. So we turned it from kind of an old-looking tiny house into our tiny house of dragons. We gave it a complete remodel. I mean, I could show you some of the pictures from before, but this was all very wood paneling. The stairs were where you're standing right now. We built these stairs out of cedar wood. This was just an empty space with a television mounted against the wall. We built this desk. It's kind of our idea of, for digital nomads, they have a little workspace that they can use. There was a big loft up here. We took that out. It was just used for storage space, and then we decorated it the way we decorate. So we have fern, and then we have woodland creatures. We have little dragons up there at the top. And then this whole kitchen area was redone as well. So this was also looked very woody, a lot of wood paneling. Painted the cabinets, took a bunch of stuff out, added space for storing cups and bowls, other things. So, yeah.
And the bathroom, I assume, went through quite a bit too.
We changed a lot in the bathroom. So we built this entire sink area. So before this was just a very standard kind of simple looking sink space. We built kind of this mount for the new sink. We have motion sensor light or mirror right there. The original tiny house had kind of this the idea of this was a mine shaft. So this was all gray, and then there was a couple of gems here, but we basically added kind of this green color and this silver and this gold color to give it sort of a gold mine appearance. And where there's gold, there's often copper, so we kind of played on that as well. So this bathroom, I'd say we touched it up, or we kind of remodeled. We did a 50% remodel of it. We get quite a number of guests that they stay, let's say, for a day or two, and they don't leave the tiny house. They watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, the movies, and then a lot of them also read the books. And I noticed that it's particularly popular with parents with young children.
Yeah.
So they, as kids growing up, really liked reading about the Hobbit. And for whatever reason, I guess, they wanted to pass that down to their kids, and this is the perfect space for them to do that. So you kind of have all of these decorations related to the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. They can watch the movies, and then they can also read some of the books to their kids. Kind of, it looks like Corten steel, but it's just very rusted. So these are nice. We usually get people come out here in the early evening. They'll have a fire. We supply all the firewood, the kindling. Normally we also have fire starters available. But this for me is one of the best tiny houses because of the view. So if you come around here, you can see it's got this big window, and it's really nice in the, I would say, in the fall, because you have this entire view of the lower valley and the upper valley, and you just sit and watch the leaves change. And a lot of people we found just enjoy spending hours sitting on the couch right there looking out the window. This one is called our cozy. So all the tiny houses are Hobbit inspired, but they have particular names. So this one's the cozy. So you can see this one's a bit different, but you'll notice there's some similar decorations like the map of Middle Earth up there. Then we also have the Lord of the Rings books. So this tiny house, all of this is old barnwood. I think it came off of a 100-year-old barn. So we spent a lot of time really cleaning it up. It was very dusty. A lot of the wood particles were falling off. So I think we probably spent an entire week brushing down this barnwood so that it wouldn't flake off inside of the tiny house.
That's beautiful, though.
Yeah, we took the barnwood, we cleaned it up, and it went into our first tiny house. They all have, every single tiny house, except for number 6, the one we were in, the House of Dragons, has a sofa bed, whereas number 6 has a day bed. But yeah, we do stuff like this. So this again, this came off a cedar trunk, so a cedar tree. Basically, all the tiny houses have one of these as an end table. So we have a big trunk, we cut it in half, we strip all the bark off, we do some further stripping, then we sand it down, then we polyurethane it so that the wood stays nice and clean and young looking.
Okay.
And then I think I mentioned it before, but all of the tiny houses, because of the Hobbit theme, have these round doors, and then Hobbits like to put bricks around their doors, so.
Let's head upstairs here.
This is our artist tiny house. This is a bit more modern on the inside, so it's very light. It's I would say one of our most popular tiny houses. It does really well. particularly with women, just because it is nice and light and it doesn't feel kind of like a cabin at all, or really even sort of like that last tiny house, you sort of have that cabin feel because of all the wood. This one's a bit different.
This one's got a pretty good view too.
Yeah, the window's a bit smaller.
Yeah,
but the view's nice. This one has done the best in terms of overall ratings. This one has a 4.99 rating. I think we're almost at 100 reviews. And I think a lot of people, particularly women, just kind of like this very light, open feeling. And that's because of the light colors. And then we have a lot of nice paintings and artwork that we've included. And then, the view is obviously pretty good, especially at night when you're sitting out around the chimenea. Second one that was built for us. This is the Woodland Hobbit. So on the inside, we can't go in, but it has a very woodland feel. So we have a lot of woodland creatures as decorations. There are cedar beams going across the top. It has two nice chandeliers coming down from the ceiling. So this one, I think, is probably the tiny house with the most privacy. They've got this entire back corner to themselves. It's also cool in the sense that it has wainscoting, kind of that old-fashioned sort of coating going around the walls. So it's a bit different in that sense. But this one, I like it just for the privacy. This one is far and away our most popular. And I don't know the reason other than it got picked up as like a house of the week by Airbnb. And then it was also, and I don't know who, but there was some sort of influencer that came by. And I think this tiny house gets almost 40,000 views a month on Airbnb, if not more.
Oh, wow.
So it gets a tremendous number of views. If I remember correctly, the theme behind this one was kind of like a day spa. So the idea was to kind of make it very inviting, relaxing, zen-like, so hopefully it kind of exudes that sort of feeling or ambiance.
It's very, very nice.
You can see it's similar to number 3. It's actually the exact same, if you want to call it, model. It's just decorated differently. So this is the one you're in. This is the Green Man. A lot of people say this is the Old Man of the North. We just call him the Green Man. That's how it was advertised to us. So this is the late. No, is it? No, this is number 5. So this one took quite a long time to build, and then quite a long time to decorate. But this one also has a very big window on the side. But the idea is that at some point you want to angle this a little bit more that way so that it looks right out into the woods. So you can still smell the cedar.
Yeah.
This also took quite a bit of work to get ready, so a lot of brushing and urethaning just to make sure that it didn't flake off. But we built these shelves you know, again, this was out of old barn wood, and then we did quite a bit of the trim, the additional trim that you can see here in cedar. And then, you know, we had extra barn wood, so there used to be sort of a faux fireplace right here, but for fire, we thought it might be a little bit of a fire hazard, so we took it out, and then we just replaced some of the extra barn wood that we had. All the tiny houses have the Gallant's refrigerators, and then I think they all have the Gallant's microwaves, and then they all have Keurigs. So we have coffee, tea, waters, and then, you know, we have the Keurig machine, which people tend to like. And then toaster, and then we have a kettle for hot water. And then they all have electric stovetops.
So what I really love about what they've done here, and I'm sure it was all very intentional, but they carry certain themes throughout the house. So you've got the circle, this Hobbit, this very iconic Hobbit circle. You have one here with this little shelf. Look at the little attention to detail, little characters and things on it, little animals. To a circle mirror, and then in here, so you've got wood pieces that kind of accent throughout. See these different wood pieces here, and then it comes into this barn wood, like that was actually, as he said, reclaimed from an actual old barn. Carries it over to this really nice sliding like barn door, and then they carry that barn wood into the bathroom as well as the accents here. So they do a good job of carrying all that through. So some storage, you might say storage might be an issue. They do have a little bit of cabinet space here that you could store some stuff, as well as this place for towels and extra towels and toilet paper there. I'm not sure what this little hidey hole is, what you would put down here. Maybe nothing. Maybe this is for storage for them. But and then I think I showed you the shower in this one. It's a full-size stand-up shower. They do include, looks like some shampoo and body wash as well. So there's the room in its entirety. I do have, that's a beautiful big picture window, but it's at night you're just on display, so the blinds do allow you to kind of shut that off. Yeah, like I love the entire vibe in here. All right, back from an evening of hanging out and having some fun in Pigeon Forge, but now I'm beat. Now I'm ready to go to sleep. I have not yet shown you the bed here. Let's go upstairs and take a look. Up the stairs we go. Not a ton of space. It is some tight quarters on this particular one. Some of the rooms had a lot more space than others. This one in particular is pretty cramped, but they don't have box springs, so essentially you can tell this is right on the platform, right on wood slats. So we'll see how comfortable that is and how well I sleep in this type of space. It's much warmer up here too, which means I'm gonna turn the air down even further. I know it's supposed to get chillier tonight, but I don't know how chilly it gets up in this little piece. But So that was a Mountain Shire, right off Wears Valley Road. Great location, close enough where you can do a quick jet into, 10 minutes or so, and you can be right in the heart of Pigeon Forge. Heading the other way on Wears Valley Road, you can be right into Wears Valley area. Keep driving through. You could be in Townsend in no time, unless you like to stay like right on the strip. When you're in Pigeon Forge, or if you're in Gatlinburg, you can stay right in the downtown, right in the middle of the action. But if you want to get a little bit away from that, this location could not be better, as it's literally close to just about everything. So you were able to see the majority of the homes that they have here on the property. They will be adding more. There also are regular tiny homes. They're not owned by the company who owns these Shire properties, these Hobbit homes. They lease that space out to another company who is kind of trying rentals here in the area to see. They own several tiny homes. They are going to be building more of the Hobbit homes. So as those come in, the other tiny homes will leave. I'm not sure. I don't have links to the other company and their rentals, but I will down below put links to every one of the houses that we took a look at today, so you can look. Now I'm going to give you the direct book link that goes right to the company and bypass Airbnb. If you like Airbnb or you use them regularly and you're more comfortable with them, you can also find these properties on Airbnb. Okay, so you had a chance to see the other properties, but I want to talk about the one that I stayed in here. Is it the Green Man? But I want to talk about the property that I stayed in. This place was, for being a tiny house, there really wasn't any point where I felt like claustrophobic in this downstairs area. I felt like I had plenty of space to move around. Now, it was just one person. You add a second person, it probably gets a little more difficult as far as storage space and where to put things are concerned. There aren't like dressers and things where you really have a ton of storage space. They've got a couple little nooks in the bathroom that you can shove things, but they've got down here off to the side, they've got a I don't know what you call it, some sort of like hutch thing that you could probably store some things in. But for the most part, you could keep your things in your suitcase. But honestly, using the restroom, a little tight, but I've been in hotels that are pretty small too. The kitchen, pretty much a full-size refrigerator as far as what you would need when you were staying here in the Smokies. They do have the cooktops in all of their facilities where you could cook something on a stovetop, so that's nice. Really, in this downstairs area, there's nothing that I have to complain about. Each of the homes, as we entered them, had a stink bug or something in it that he quickly disposed of. They'll usually do one more walkthrough and make sure that no bugs got left behind. Let me explain something to you when I say bugs. These are not like roaches. These are not like bugs that are attracted to like filth. These are bugs you find in the woods. So they do their best to keep pests out. However, we are in the woods. So whether you're staying in this place or in a cabin, there's always that potential that some bugs will find their way in. So keep that in mind. With all that being said, I stayed in here one night and I saw one distinct bug. And I was very mindful of it, looking around, knowing where they might be hiding or crawling, and I haven't seen another one. Here in the woods, they do have a wall unit for AC and heat, works very well. It got actually up in the 80s today here in Pigeon Forge, so to be able to turn that air conditioning on was super nice. So, loved everything about the downstairs, was able to kick back and watch some TV. They do have Wi-Fi that really only works in the living room and very more specifically this side of the living room. I assume they have their Wi-Fi posted somewhere kind of centrally where everybody can kind of use it. But, it's not something they even had to provide. it's nice that they have it. They do have a hot tub on property. In addition to the little fireplaces that they have, they also have a fire pit that you can go and sit around. All right, lastly, we need to address my one difficulty, I guess, if you want to call it that. So let's take a look. So this is the sleeping area, and I tried it. I was going to just sleep downstairs, but I gave it a shot, and I found two things to be, it could be three things to be problematic. One is very tight. And I knew that coming in, looking at some of the pictures, but this one in particular, some of them gave you a little bit more room. One of them even looked like it had some sort of a bed stand. The mattress itself feels more like it would be like a mattress topper, something like with memory foam. So that, of course, is not ideal when this is just sitting on top of wood. So problem one was it's a tight space. If you were to startle awake or need to jump out of bed, you're going to conk your head immediately. And then to get out, it's a lot of scooting to scoot that way. So that was part of the problem. So I tried to sleep here, was sinking in a good bit. They do have fans up here, but the second problem was warmth. It got pretty toasty up here, even with the air running downstairs. They had two different fans that you could run to kind of combat that, but it didn't ultimately help. But the last thing was the comfort. So I laid here, and in no time I kind of sunk down in. I'm not a small guy. Kind of sunk down into the bed. So if you find yourself being able to pretty much sleep in any condition, in any situation, then this might be perfect for you. If you struggle with firmer mattresses, then this is going to be a problem. Now, I will say, when it rains and you're sleeping up here, or even really down there, but when it rains in this place, it sounds amazing. So I'm going to demonstrate getting out. So I ended up just coming down here and sleeping on the couch. This will open up into a bed. I didn't even try that. I was actually very comfortable on the couch, but you could turn this into a bed, and I'm sure it'd be perfectly comfortable, much more comfortable than the upstairs. Now you may be asking, is that bed comfort enough for you to not recommend this place? Is that a deal breaker for you? For me, no, it just isn't, because this is such a unique experience. It's such a unique place to stay that for me, honestly, I would recommend it. I would recommend trying any of the houses around here, because let's face it, like, there's nothing else like this in the Smokies. What they have here is something extremely unique, and I'm happy that I was able to share it with you. But all right, that'll do it. One last glance around Hobbit House here in Mountain Shire. Thank you to the host for showing me around, allowing me to show everybody the insides of the different houses. But that'll do it. This has been another video from the Great Smoky Mountains. We hope you have a great day. God bless.